oil revenues and mineral royalties.
On the international front, Burkina Faso's junta expels the UN's top official to the West African nation over a report about children caught up in the jihadist conflict.
We have details of all these stories and many more in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
And we're starting from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Many people are sharing their opinions on the half-year report. Let's get into the details now. The Office of the Special Prosecutor says after nearly 7 months of extensive investigation and a parallel inquiry by the FBI, no direct and immediate evidence of corruption was found in respect of seized funds and frozen bank accounts linked to former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources Cecilia Dapaah and her associates. The OSP, however, says the money laundering probe is still active. This was contained in the prosecutor's half-year report.
It will be recorded that the office commenced an investigation in July 2023 in respect of suspected corruption and corruption-related offences regarding large amounts of money and other valuable items involving Cecilia Dapaah and her associates. The OSP, in its half-year report for 2025, says after nearly 7 months of extensive investigation and a parallel inquiry by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI in the United States, no direct and immediate evidence of corruption was found in respect of seized funds and frozen bank accounts linked to the accused person and her associates. The FBI OSP partnership came barely a day after lawyers of the former sanitation minister filed an affidavit at the Human Rights Division of the High Court seeking an interlocutory injunction on investigations being conducted by Ghana's OSP. The former Bantama MP had described as unfair, unreasonable, capricious, arbitrary, and ultra-virus the re-seizure of her monies and the refreezing of her accounts and property.
Right, so following the half-year report that was released, a few media houses and on social media, headlines have been couched. Many people are talking about it, and this has again drawn the attention of the OSP. They've released yet another statement trying to clarify what they captured in their half-year report. Now, it says that the attention of the Office of the Special Prosecutor has been drawn to misleading reports on the findings regarding investigations involving Mrs. Cecilia Dapaah. Certain media outlets reported that the FBI found no evidence of corruption, while others claim that the FBI found no direct evidence of corruption. Some have gone further to publish that the FBI has cleared Madam Cecilia Dapaah. These reports are inaccurate and a mischievous representation of the OSP's half-year report, captured specifically in page 9, bullet 2.26. The findings were the result of investigations conducted by the OSP and a parallel aspect by the FBI at the instance of the OSP. So on your screen, you can see a specific quote from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, which says the report only stated that no direct and immediate evidence of corruption was found, not that there was no evidence at all or that Cecilia Dapaah was cleared. Let's try and see how all of this, brings clarity to what the OSP has been doing in the last few months. Martin Pebu is a private legal practitioner, has joined us on Zoom for a quick chat. Counsel, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Dave. Evening.
Yes. Right. To start with, what is your understanding of what exactly the OSP is saying? On one hand, many said, then it means Cecilia Dapaah is free or has no, is not tainted in any way. But the OSP has come out to say that no, there actually is something, just that the half-year report is being misrepresented. How do you understand this?
So, my understanding is that Cecilia Dapaah is a woman who was found with money and has not been able to explain the source of that money to the OSP. So it is still on record that when Cecilia Dapaah was asked about the source of that money, she said she was running 2 cosmetic businesses. OSC conducted investigations, and it turned out those businesses didn't belong to her. Then at another point, she said the money, $800,000, belongs to her deceased brother, who was a shoemaker. No disrespect to shoemakers, all right? But later she saw that that one was falling apart, so she recounted. So it can never be that OSC has found nothing against her. It will forever be that she could not explain the source of the money. So the fact that the case has not gone to court is a different question altogether. It's a different question altogether. So sometimes somebody can do something wrong, but it is difficult to prosecute the person. You may not be able to prosecute, but as it stands now, please, you can Google and pull out the OSC report. Cecilia Dapaah was asked, how did you get this money? She says it is cosmetic businesses too. She failed. So that is a key thing. So anybody who ever tells you, maybe if you say they have they've not found a crime, well, for now we can say yes, but in terms of ethics and in terms of source of income, against Article 286 of our Constitution, it says, Article 286 of our Constitution says, if we find you with money, which is not a loan, which is not your income, and which is not your inheritance, that money, that property shall be deemed to have been illegally acquired.
Right.
So by the Constitution of Ghana, Cecilia Dapaah illegally got that money. That's one. Let me just end 30 seconds on this point. Right. Number two, OSC said they find suspected money laundering and structuring. So some months ago, OSC handed over the file to Raymond Acha, the executive director of IOCO. So Raymond Acha is currently doing the investigation. Then number three, we are in court fighting that the money laundering investigation should go on. So please, anybody who says there's nothing against Cecilia Dapaah should tell that to the Marines.
Counsel, I mean, in that exposition, you've answered a number of the questions I had, but let me also ask this. Does the findings of the FBI in this matter douse the expectation that many had, especially because the OSP's investigation gave an indication that they definitely were going to be more conclusive in their findings, but coming to say there was no clear evidence or the wording of their statement and the FBI backing or indirectly saying the same thing, does that water down the kind of expectation people had, or probably you had?
No, it doesn't. What is happening with the FBI is the same as what has happened with, OSC here. Let's break down some of the facts. FBI found, the lady, is it Cecilia Dapaah's husband's niece, the lady who was said to have brought money to them from America. She could not answer how she brought that money down. She could not. So maybe OSC needs to bring out another part that will expose what FBI found. When they asked the lady, how did you manage to bring this money from America? The story she gave did not check out. That story did not check out. So, but like I said, even though it didn't check out, it is not sufficient for corruption, but rather that is how it sounds in money laundering. And we all know Raymond Acha. Raymond Acha is going to be on this case, so he gets results. And Raymond Acha knows that if he doesn't get results on this matter, he won't sleep. Because me, as long as I'm alive, every day, I'm sure you will hear Cecilia Dapaah from my mouth. We will get to the bottom of this matter. Right. We will get to the bottom of this matter.
Martin Pebu, pleasure talking to you as always, Counsel. Thank you for your time. And clearly, as he has indicated, the OSP has forwarded a docket on this subject or this matter to IOCO. So fingers crossed, we'll see how it plays out in the coming days.
In more news tonight, the opposition New Patriotic Party NPP is demanding the police to swiftly arrest and prosecute perpetrators of violence that marred the Ablekuma North election rerun. National organizer Henry Nanabuachi, speaking after a meeting with the Election Security Task Force, said only prompt action by the police will restore the party's confidence in the security agencies.
The Electoral Commission set Tuesday, September 2, 2025, for the conduct of the by-election in the Akwatia constituency. The seat became vacant following the death of Ernest Kumi, the Member of Parliament for the area. The Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohunu, in an engagement with the Electoral Commission and political parties, assured that the police service is working to ensure a peaceful election.
There are things that we feel that we have to let all of us know so that we prepare the grounds for the elections. That's why the EC is also doing the true lights, the do's and don'ts, the conditions we have to follow. We are also here so that if there's any political party that feels that there's something that has to be done that is not yet done, we can all put our heads together to make sure that those things are done, and then we have these elections coming on very peacefully.
Speaking after the meeting, the NPP urged the police to take firm action against perpetrators of violence in the Ablekuma North election rerun, stressing that such accountability is crucial to restoring their confidence in the security services.
Assurances are built on confidence. If they want us to rely on these assurances, then they must work on what happened in Ablekuma North. For the New Patriotic Party, we are going to protect ourselves. The IGP says that he is going to make sure that this is going to be one of the most peaceful by-elections we've had in this country. But our concerns are still the fact that we have had some people who caused some mayhem in Ablekuma North. They are still walking free. They must make some arrests and they must put these guys before the law court. As we speak, we lack that requisite confidence in the Ghana police.
For the ruling NDC, it remains committed to the peace plan, but was concerned about what it described as possible attempts by the NPP to incite violence.
The NDC, we are committed to the peace plan, the process they've put in place, but we are mindful of the activity of our opponent who will come in there with dangerous weapons. You remember what happened at Ablekuma North? That triggered all this problem. And then there was a pepper spray. So we are clear in our mind. The police have given us all the assurance.
Director of Electoral Services of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Benjamin Banobio, says the Commission is ready for a peaceful election.
We indicated that we are ready. As at now, we are going to start printing of ballots from tomorrow. Recruitment has already been done. We have procured all the materials required for the elections.
In more news tonight, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association is demanding swift action from government following an attack on a nurse at the Rich Hospital in Accra. The association has given authorities 48 hours to arrest the suspect, Ralph St. Williams, or risk asking their members to remove themselves from the work environment. Leadership of the association made this demand during a visit to the hospital where the assaulted nurse, Rejoice Bote, is currently receiving treatment.
The leadership of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, GRNMA, visited the Rich Hospital on Tuesday, 19th of August 2025, following a disturbing incident involving a man identified as Ralph St. Williams and a nurse on duty. According to the nurse, Rejoice Bote, she was physically assaulted by Ralph St. Williams, resulting in severe body pain. She has since been admitted to the emergency ward of the hospital for treatment.
I did a pressure dressing for him. Okay. His finger that he said it was bleeding, it had bled. Okay. The blood had dried. Okay. So I just had to put a gauze on it so that we reassure him. He wasn't happy about it, so he took off the dressing I did for him. Okay. Then I approached him and I told him that I've done a dressing for you, so be patient. We have 2 trauma cases and other cases too are there. He wants us to leave them. He got angry and he started yes. So he did this to me. And then when he went out, I don't know where the guys came from. Most of the health workers saw them earlier, so they had flee. I didn't see them. And then they, from my back to my chest, and then they were just...
The Sector Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta Kando, visited the nurse on August 18, 2025, and assured her of the government's commitment for a thorough investigation. But the leadership of the Nurses and Midwives Association is not satisfied. They have issued a 48-hour ultimatum to the government to arrest the suspect or face possible action. General Secretary of the GRNMA is Dr. David Tenkranchum.
They are asking government to arrest the guy immediately and the 8 accomplices. We were told there were about 50 guys that came, but those who laid their hands on the lady are about 8, including Ralph himself. And therefore, if he's not arrested within 48 hours, we shall advise ourselves. Oh, it's very simple. I mean, if nurses and midwives in Ghana say that they will advise themselves, I think that you don't need a soothsayer to know what we want to do, because we think that we are not safe.
The association says it will consider further action if the government fails to respond within the stated time frame.
I don't know at what material moment that the minister embraced the gentleman, but I'm told that it was after they had interaction with management, meaning that he has been adequately briefed about the perpetrators of these heinous crime. Yet he went about, embracing the gentleman. It's very unfortunate. Okay, because if you are not safe.
Let's now speak to Christian Malmhesse. He is a legal practitioner. Christian, thank you so much for your time. What legal actions can the affected health professionals as well as the hospital take against perpetrators?
Good evening and thanks for having me.
Hello, Christian. I was asking
yes,
what
if
legal...
you could come by with your question again.
Yes, what legal action can the healthcare professional who was assaulted as well as the hospital take against the perpetrators of the assault?
Yes, thank you. When it comes to assault, we have assault action to be taken in respect of assault in two folds. One, in the criminal setting, and then the other in the civil setting. Now, when it comes to the civil setting, we move in the area of law called law of tort, because law of tort deals with wrongs occasioned on the person, so that in that particular situation where the perpetrator occasioned the victim to apprehend the use of unlawful force, then that would suffice in it. Now, again, if you come to our Criminal Offences Act at 29, it also deals with that. If you look at section 86, 87, it deals with issues of assault, where the perpetrator unlawfully touches or causes annoyance and all of that to the victim, then we call it assault. Indeed, it does not even require the minister to cause a committee to look into this. This is an alleged assault. The nurse could take a legal action through civil means for compensation, or it is just a straight-in walking to the police to lodge a complaint against a known person who is identified as Ralph, or definitely if he's roping, the other members of his group could be brought to the fore for investigations, and the conclusions thereof would mean that the gentleman could be arraigned before court for prosecution. And an assault is a misdemeanor, so the court could either give a fine or imprisonment or both, but it's a demeanor, basically meaning not a term of years, not a term of imprisonment for more than 3 years.
Now,
so
Christian,
I believe it is one that should not be bureaucratic, because a ministerial committee or the minister calling for a committee to look into this is bureaucracy. It's a criminal matter that the matter should be lodged at the complaint for investigations to be done by an inquisitorial officer. That is what the police is closed to do.
Now, Christian, we also saw there's been a press release from the Ghana Medical Association, and they're saying that the Minister of Health's open and friendly engagement with the lead suspect could also have a bearing on the case. Is that what you also see?
I mean, it should be deemed that the minister is a neutral person, and indeed, probably he might have some personal relationships. We all don't know, but for whatever it is, given the situation, they see it from a certain point of view that having gone through this pain, the minister is laughing with the gentleman. It might not even be related. It might be that they have some relation of a sort. But a more decisive decision would be that it need not go through bureaucracy. It should just be lodged at the police for the legal process to take place, not another bureaucracy. So they will see that justice is being carried out. And indeed, workmen or workwomen in that fold needs to work with peace, with protection. And indeed, the nurse can also be compensated under the Workmen's Compensation Act because she was in the line of duty when she sustained these injuries. You know, so I believe that the minister should work swiftly, and for calling for committee to go into this, I believe it is bureaucratic, which will not bring the necessary and urgent resolution of it.
But Christian, thank you so much for your time.
The police should have been the way forward.
Thank you. Christian Malm Hesse is a legal practitioner. Meanwhile, the Minister of Health, Kwabena Mintah Kando, has assured the general public of government's commitments to ensure health facilities are safe for all. He says a committee set up to investigate the assault incident that occurred at the Ridge Hospital will present its report in a week's time for action.
The minister's assurance stemmed from an incident that led to an assault on a health worker at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Ridge. A viral video by a relative of an accident victim clashing with health workers at the emergency department of the hospital over alleged lack of urgency has sparked public concern. An incident that has been condemned by the Health Ministry. The Centre Minister, Kwabena Mintah Kando, following a visit to the facility, assured of thorough investigation.
We haven't only done a release. Yesterday, I was there personally and interacted with the health workers. One of the reasons why I went there was to reassure them of our commitment and support, to energize them to go back to their wards and work, because I realized that they were down-spirited and they were demoralized. And so I had to quickly go there and then encourage them to do more, to work more, and assure them of a thorough investigation into the matter. So after my visit, we have constituted a committee to investigate the matter within a week, and then the law takes its own course.
Let's turn our attention to some other stories. The IGP's Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force has escalated their intensified fight against illegal mining with a renewed commitment to save the environment. 3 new excavators were seized after the team stormed illegal mining sites in Asase, Bontifufuo, Aboabo in the Amansie West District.
Following the communal confrontation between the IGP Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force and residents of Bontresu last week, the team escalated its fight against the environmental distractionists in Bontifufu and its surroundings, where illegal mining has become the driving force behind the local economy. Large hectares of farmlands and water bodies have been destroyed by the miners. Community members against the environmental distraction volunteered information to the police.
The fight against illegal mining continues.
Led by ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil, the team proceeded to confiscate 4 excavators after the miners escaped arrest. However, the team towed 3 of the excavators to base at Mansu Edubia, while 1 was immersed in mud and remained immobilized.
The fight against illegal mining is one thing that needs a collective fight. We need the stakeholders of Akwatia the civil society group from this area, as well as all the government officials to support the Inspector General of Police anti-calamity task force so that we'll be able to control this illegal mining within this jurisdiction.
Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News.
Several infractions and weak monitoring controls characterized the first day of the consideration of the 2024 Auditor General's report for ministries, departments and agencies. Failure to account for expenditure and underpayment of charges ran through the performance of agencies that were interrogated. Here's a report by Christian Yali.
The first group to appear before the committee was the National Information Technology Agency, which failed to provide supporting document for some $6.7 million paid in a contract to Smart Infraco.
So far, they responded refuting this amount and we referred the matter to the ministry. The ministry agrees with us and they have referred the matter to the Attorney General. In fact, there are two contracts. If you come to the agency, there are two contracts, one with the 12% and the other with the 7% signed by the Director General. And we are yet to be convinced that there was actually a formal change from the 12% to the 7%. We haven't received any supporting document yet.
NITA was yet again charged to recover some 3.8 million cedis as part of 10 million cedis generated in 2021 in a similar contract with Smart Infraco. The Cybersecurity Authority was held for paying over 31,000 cedis to former officers who had resigned from the agency.
The payroll at the time was being done by the Controller General. A personnel resigned by handing a resignation to the authorities and giving us 1 month notice. And when the notice is given, then the controller is also informed, as much as the ministry is also informed.
The situation was not different for the Office of the Head of Civil Service, where various staff working at the Government Secretarial School failed to pay their rent.
We have come out with a payment plan. We've spread the arrears to 5 months. So we've collected the first, but that's what we paid to the Auditor General's recovery account. And we have a payment plan to recover the rest of the money in the subsequent months.
Chairperson of the committee, Abinose Asari, expressed the worry.
Clearly, we see that there's a lack of control, or the systems are not working properly, not working efficiently. And so we are asking the ministries, departments and agencies to revoke the sanctions in the Public Financial Management Act. And we believe that that will also go a long way to help technical people who have been entrusted with taking care of the public purse to be up and doing and sit up and do what is needful. And based on the recommendations that we gave the plenary agree on, we will send it out to the ministries, departments and agencies. And we will expect them to implement them.
Officials of the Gender Ministry were asked to refund some 54,000 cedis accrued by a former staff who resigned without meeting a bond spelt out for a scholarship he received. Christian Yali, TV3 News, Parliament.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have business, sports, entertainment coming up.
I
reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani.
From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News, leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
A significant infrastructure development initiative could face potential financing challenges. The plan, which aims to allocate $2 billion annually from oil revenues and mineral royalties until 2029, is at risk due to the current stagnation and projected trends in the extractive sector. The situation could lead to implementation difficulties for the ambitious project.
Based on trend analysis of figures, government's Big Push initiative faces a significant funding shortfall. The initiative requires an annual allocation of $2 billion from oil revenues and mineral royalties. Oil revenues averaged $407.12 million annually from 2020 to 2024. Mineral royalties averaged $203 million annually from 2021 to 2024, With 80% of mineral royalties designated for the big push, the total average annual contribution from these two sources is far below the required amount. According to Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy (CEMSI), Benjamin Insia, the 2024 budget will likely be a key indicator of the financial challenge. The budget projects $490 million for annual budget funding amount for Big Push, minerals royalties of $557 million, leading to a shortfall of $953 million compared to the budgeted $2 billion annually for the Big Push.
The actual performance of the revenues do not even also support government initiatives of allocating $2 billion because the revenues are not there. Oil is not performing well. And minerals this year have not seen hikes in their prices. The mineral royalties that we've been projected around 6 billion, we may not even get. So the key source of funding for this project is also at risk. The mineral royalties may not come, and also the oil proceeds are not also going to come.
This substantial gap highlights a high risk of a funding shortfall, which could jeopardize the implementation of the initiative.
They're better for government to come and be clear with us the alternative source of funding for this project, where the $1 billion is going to come from. Beyond the 2025, we think that government must look at other sources of funding, the big push, so that it doesn't become one of the numerous political promises that do not see the end.
Now, government has injected nearly 9.7 billion Ghana cedis into the economy through its latest coupon payment under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. The Finance Ministry says this brings total disbursements so far this year to 19.4 billion cedis, a move it describes as a bold demonstration of its commitment to honoring debt obligations and restoring investor confidence.
The government has fulfilled yet another round of coupon payment under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program, releasing 9.7 billion into the economy. In a statement, the Finance Ministry confirmed the disbursement on Tuesday, pushing the total payout for 2025 alone to 19.4 billion Ghana cedis. Officials say the payment is not just routine, but a clear signal to bondholders and the public that government remains determined to rebuild trust in Ghana's debt management efforts. To reinforce this commitment, two new financial cushions have been established: the cedi sinking fund and the US dollar sinking fund, which will support repayment of bonds maturing in 2026, 2027, and 2028. The Finance Ministry insists all obligations, including those under the DDEP, will be met in full and on time. Analysts say the latest payments could provide a much-needed boost to investor confidence and send a strong message that government is serious about steering Ghana's debt ship towards safer waters.
Finance Minister Dr. Cecilia Dapaah has inaugurated a 3-member Gold Board tribunal mandated to hear appeals on licensing and other decisions of the Ghana Gold Board. The tribunal's rulings will carry the same weight as judgments of the High Court, with further appeals going to the Court of Appeal.
The 3-member Gold Board Tribunal is established under the Ghana Gold Board Act 2025. The tribunal will serve as an ad hoc body to review appeals on licensing and disputes arising from the operations of the Ghana Gold Board. Introducing the newly sworn-in members, Dr. Cecilia Dapaah assured that the tribunal will be fully supported to function effectively.
The law says Section 56(1) says the tribunal consists of a chairperson, happen to be yourself, a retired justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, or a lawyer with at least 15 years experience in the regulation of the gold industry or the practice of alternative dispute resolution. I'm glad to inform you that His Excellency the President considers you competent enough to handle matters that will come before you, and will urge you to do your job diligently.
The chairperson of the tribunal, Biadela Mote Akwaji, also pledged the panel's commitment to fairness and transparency.
It is by way of looking at complaints that arise out of decisions of the Gold Board, and then are also issues that arise from the arbitration panel. So once those issues come up, then we will deal with them.
The finance minister added that an administrator will soon be appointed to strengthen the tribunal's operations.
We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market. That'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudu. Thank you for watching. Up next is sports.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. We do start off with our first story where the Ghana League Clubs Association will kick off the 2025 Top 4 competition on Wednesday, August 20 at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium instead of the Accra Sports Stadium due to the upcoming 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The tournament will serve as a key preparatory event ahead of the new Premier League season. The pre-season tournament will feature 4 of Ghana's clubs, including Premier League champions Ubendi Gold Stars, Heart of Oak, Asante Kotoko, and then Heart of Lions.
So the Ghana Top 4 will kickstart on the 20th of August to the 24th of August. 4 teams will be competing for the prestigious trophy, namely that is Ubendi Gold Stars, Heart of Lions, Asante Kotoko, and Heart of Oak. But Ghana has brought a new format as far as the Top 4 is concerned, and this time it is going to be all play all. So we are going to have 3 days of exciting football where we will be playing 2 matches every day. So on the 20th, we will start with Asante Kotoko hosting Ubendi Gold Stars. Then Heart of Oak would also play a part 2 of that game against Heart of Lions. Then we will pause and have games on Friday. Then Sunday would also see a big one because that is where Asante Kotoko will be meeting Heart of Oak. All the teams are preparing for this tournament and are vowed to win, especially Masoud Didi Dramani, the head coach of Heart of Oak. After winning the Homo Cup, says that he needs to sweep this one. Abdul Karim Zito, the head coach of Asante Kotoko, is also saying that this is the time that Kotoko will need to show their mettle against the big boys. But Ubendi Gold Stars are also eyeing this prestigious trophy. So it ran from the 20th to the 24th of October. Initially, it was built to be played at the Baba Sports Stadium, but due to concerns with the grass, it was shifted to the Accra Sports Stadium. Then a directive from Director General of the National Sports Authority also indicated that the games cannot be played at the Accra Sports Stadium because the Black Stars will be using the venue for their preparation towards the World Cup qualifier. So now it is confirmed the games will be played at the University of Ghana Stadium in Legon. That is where the Top 4 will be played. And all the 4 teams that will be competing are poised and very much in action to win this one.
Well, that was my colleague Mutala Yakubu. To some more stories where Asante Kotoko have expressed their displeasure over the decision that will see the club play its upcoming CAF Confederation Cup preliminary match against Kwara United of Nigeria at the Accra Sports Stadium instead of their traditional home ground, that's the Baba Sports Stadium in Kumasi. The Porcupine Warriors are scheduled to face Kwara United between 19th and 21st September, but logistical challenges and venue clearance issues have forced a change in location. Speaking on Akoma 87.9 FM, Asante Kotoko's club's communications director Samuel Safuduku lamented the financial and emotional toll the decision will have on the club and its supporters.
Of having to move the team from Kumasi to a different venue for the entire duration of the competition cannot be underestimated. You and I know hotel bills, transportation, and even the fact that you will not get the chunk of your supporters behind you is a serious problem. It's unfortunate that we have gotten to this stage, looking at the fact that sometimes we have to be a bit serious as a country. But from the very moment that Kotoko even qualified to the finals of the FA Cup, MTN FA Cup, it was obvious that the opponent wouldn't have the wherewithal, with all due respect, to play in the competition. So Kotoko were the likely candidates. Even after winning the FA Cup, it's about 8 weeks or so now. And we had prepared, in fact, everything is planned. We had prepared and sent the request as far as disappointed as a club.
Now to a remarkable story of determination and advocacy. A man from Bolgatanga in the Upper East region has walked more than 780 kilometers to Accra in a bid to demand a modern sports stadium for his people. For 27 days, Dennis Apusiga braved the road, fueled by a promise and the hope of change. My colleague Bilishan tells the story.
It all began with a Facebook post just before the 2025 Club World Cup final. Dennis Apusika, an indigene of Bolgatanga in the Upper East region, declared that he would walk all the way to Accra if Chelsea defeated PSG. When the Blues won 3-0, the tourism advocates considered backing out. But after hours of mental debates, he realized that this presented a chance to advocate for a bigger cause, a modern stadium in the Upper East region. So on July 22nd, he began his Herculean task. With only a few clothing items on his back, the 34-year-old trekked through Walewale, Tamale, Yendi, Hohoe, and dozens of other communities. The journey stretched over 780 kilometers. It was long and it was arduous. Moments after arriving at a guest house in Sang, Apusika even considered throwing in the towel.
Because I haven't prepared much for this journey, my legs got swollen. I had to, find hot water and also massage my leg. And when I got to Sang that late, it was almost 8 p.m. And I sat on my resting bed and I was crying. I nearly fainted at a runabout in Yendi when the media guys were taking an interview. So I told them to pause. Let me quickly adjust myself, ease myself from the stress.
Inhabitants of the towns and villages along the way cheered him on, fueling his resolve. And after 27 days, Apusika finally arrived at the Black Star Square in Accra. It was an emotional moment.
It was a whole mix because at some point I doubted myself, but when I kept going, then my body adjusted to the walk. I was like, wow.
His mission is far from over. Apusika says a modern stadium in the Upper East will not only harness football talent, but also unite the youth and sustain peace in the region.
If we have smaller football clubs, at least through that, the youth will not indulge themselves in anything that doesn't contribute. So those who understand sports will know that sports is a game of unity, it's a game of networking with other community. And the stadium can also be used as a national festival event.
For Dennis Apusika, every step was more than just a walk. It was a statement, a call for recognition, a call for opportunity. His journey from Bolgatanga to Accra may be over, but his fight for a stadium and for the dreams of the Upper East has only just begun.
Well, a truly remarkable story there put together by my colleague Bill Ishan, bringing an end to the sports segment here on News 360. You can get some more updates on our social media handles at 3sportsGH. My name is Ori Kwampafo.
reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Oh, coming up, some entertainment tidbits.
Afrofusion sensation Jackie, known for her captivating sound and heartfelt lyrics, is set to release her highly anticipated debut album titled After Midnight on August 29. In anticipation of the release, the singer, affectionately known as the Songbird, hosted a private listening session for select industry experts, offering them an exclusive first listen of the project. Describing the album as a deeply personal body of work, Jackie shared that After Midnight draws inspiration from the stillness and mystery of the night. The project explores various forms of love, a recurring theme in her music through poetic storytelling and her signature soothing vocals.
It would take out motivation, they would take out love, they would take out healing, and they will actually get a lot of happiness out of it. So it's a mixture of emotions, and that's what I want everybody has to take one out of each of these emotions I mentioned away.
Born to Ghanaian high life legend Nane Champong, Jackie continues her family's rich musical legacy while carving her own unique path in the global Afrofusion scene. With After Midnight, Jackie promises to take listeners on an emotional journey that blends intimacy, vulnerability, and artistic growth.
To my amazing fans and my listeners, I am very happy for the support. After Midnight is an album that you listen to and you're going to have it on rotation. I appreciate the love and support, and I know I'm going to see you very soon on tour.
And that's it for entertainment. Let's bring you some news just coming in from the offices of the Electoral Commission, which is that the EC has set September 30, 2025 for the Tamale Central by-election following the passing of Dr. Murtala Mohammed. And the nominations for that particular by-election opens on the 8th of September to the 10th, and then the filing fee is 10,000 cedis. And if women who want to participate, they have to pay 7,500. 10 p.m. Ghana tonight, Alfredo Kanse will come your way with more details of this new development from the EC's office.
And that's it for News 360. Thank you so much for your time. Do join Asiedu-Dartey at 9 p.m. for Agenda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Asiedu-Dartey. Bye for now.